Hey, how's it going, guys? My name is Jackie Fish and welcome back to some more Total War Attila. We are diving into the Medieval Kingdoms Total War 1212 AD mod update. This mod recently got a pretty large overhaul mod update on the 12th, which makes the campaign even better, fixing a bunch of important things that needed fixing, as well as adding in a bunch of new mechanics. So what I thought I would do in today's video is just dive in and show you guys all the brand new additions along with some of the changes as well that will really go ahead and strengthen your campaign. I think now is a perfect time to dive into the campaign. I also will be showing you guys some things as well that have recently been added, maybe not in this update, but in the previous one, just to kind of give you guys a better understanding of this mod, because I know some people maybe have never seen 1212 before, have only seen the online battles, or maybe have seen it but a long time ago. So obviously, first thing you can see is there are a ton of factions, and many of these factions recently received overhauls. I believe the Ottoman Empire recently got a brand new update, along with the Sultanate and the Abbasid Sultanate as well. I believe the Ottomans aren't obviously in the game right away, but you can actually transform into them with the awesome 1212 Kingdom Builder. You can basically level up your country through certain events and scripts. For example, Spain obviously isn't Spain at the beginning of the game, but they can go from Castile. If they conquer the correct regions, they can develop and eventually be that awesome Spanish kingdom that you obviously strive to in the Reconquista, and vice versa. There are plenty of other factions out there. Again, Sicily can become Italy and so on. But yeah, they received some overhauls to their factions, as well as that the Empire of Nicaea, the Despot of Epirus, and also the Albanian League have also received a brand new rosters in the game with new models as well, which is very, very cool. One of the factions that have recently received a little bit of a tweak as well is France, so I'll dive in and show you guys all about them. So they've gone ahead and basically been started off at the Imperium level 2. So instead, I think most factions start off around about Imperium level 1, and it's not like France particularly have a large amount of settlements to begin with. They have about 4 in France, and obviously they don't have Bordeaux because of England, but they've been bumped up to obviously represent them being a strong power in Europe. So now they have obviously started off. Here we go. If I click at this and go to summary, you'll see that they are already at the next Imperium level, which has some negatives to it. Obviously, more upkeep costs, more construction, and also a minor diplomatic debuff for everybody. But they are also gifted with 20,000 gold. I think that's 100% more than every other faction who starts off at the lower Imperium level. So that will allow them to muster some armies in the early game to obviously push in and conquer Bordeaux. They can also use this money as well to buy the brand new mercenaries in the game. So I believe they stated that pretty much every single region, bar a couple, now have tier 1 mercenaries in them, which is super awesome. It's great to go ahead and see that. So you'll be getting region specific mercenaries. You'll get different ones if you're in Spain than if you are in France, than if you're in England, then if you're in the Holy Roman Empire, and so on and so on, which is super cool. It's great. People have been asking for mercenaries for so long, so now you can go ahead and utilize that and kind of level up your forces, getting that additional stuff where you need to. Obviously, they're going to be expensive. For example, these free company men at arms are 900 gold and 370 to upkeep, whereas your French cavalry will be way cheaper to buy to begin with. Does seem like the unit cost themselves is very similar, which is an interesting thing. Again, sometimes mercenaries are kind of the same to upkeep, but cheaper to hold. Yeah, it seems like maybe they're a little bit more expensive than what they're worth, but nothing crazy. So it's more about getting that kind of initial buy cost more so than anything else. Something that's been in the mod for a while, and something that many of you guys might not know, is that every settlement in the game is now individual. For example, Paris itself is much larger, and you can actually spend I believe population to actually increase these regions as well. So for example, I can now, you need population surplus. I think eventually they want to tie it to their population mechanic, which we'll get onto in a second. But yeah, basically every settlement is now individual, and you can level up through population. It does take a while to grow. For example, you need 7 growth points to upgrade, to upgrade some of these other provinces. Paris, for example, needs 9 upgrade points. So it's not like this is easy to make these mega cities. The cities that are supposed to be mega cities will be much more accustomed to growing and leveling up, as well as other ones, other smaller cities will again take way longer. Again, even to upgrade this, it takes 7 population surplus, which is going to take a while. So you can't just make these mega cities out of nothing, but if you put enough time and effort into them, you can increase them. It's also quite nice as well, because then you can do a bunch of edicts as well in individual provinces. And I like the system. I like that these are tied to just kind of the entire region, and they're not tied to a province. It's an interesting way of going about it. And I kind of like that. I kind of like the old Shogun 2 style of gameplay. And I think it fits well for the medieval era, because it also means that like every settlement can also be a walled. There is also a population system in the game. This has been around for a couple updates, but has recently received a fairly large improvement, just kind of, condensing it, making it a little bit better. And you can see the entire population system right here in the bottom left of your screen. You can see, for example, Paris's population is 100,000 people. We have 5,500 nobility. We have over 99,000 burghers. We have 55,000 peasants, no tribesmen, and some foreigners in the city as well. And each of these populations go ahead and add additions to the settlement. For example, whenever you recruit soldiers, if I go to my army in Paris and we go ahead and click on this, you can see the costs right there. These are going to come from the peasant manpower. We currently have 13,000 peasants to recruit from. I don't know if we have any. Yeah, these are burghers, so these are more upgraded, the upper class. More so, again, we have 24,000 of them to draw from. And in the outskirts of your city, you're going to be recruiting, and you're going to have way less to recruit from. For example, we only actually have 100. We actually literally don't have enough manpower to recruit from the noble population from these cities. This city must have like a good garrison or something. What the hell is... Oh, it's because it's a castle. That's why we can recruit the good soldiers. Makes sense. But yeah, you'll be drawing, you'll be replenishing, and that's pretty big. If I take a big old noble army into Rouen up here in the north, and then I lose a battle and I have to replenish, I'm not going to be able to replenish from here because we have so few nobles and so few recruitable nobles as well. One of the amazing things about the scripts as well in 12.12 when looking at population is the fact that you can click this button down here and you can run through every population and see what you're increasing by how much, and you can really get a breakdown of the population, which is super dope. They do such a good job with all these scripts that it is really, really impressive. So another thing I want to mention is that they have also completely changed the way that units now work in battle. They've revamped pretty much every roster in the game to represent this higher quality ceiling. So now elite units will be in much smaller groups. And you can see that, for example, on your unit cards down here in the bottom in the Legacy of Rome. So for example, these peasant levies have 160 men. Obviously they're a kind of a quick formed group of soldiers that have been brought together. Not really great equipment, not really good training. They're just kind of there to act as a front line. Then if you compare them to, say, the infantry here, these knights are made up of 150. So there's 10 less of them in these dismounted French units. And again, these are the early period ones. I'm assuming as you go further in the campaign, and you get more of the mid to late game units, that these guys obviously will continue to reduce down. If you have some late period knights, there'll probably be something along the line of 120 soldiers in them units. Same with the cavalry as well. You can see the differences. So we have some sergeants here. These are medium shot cavalry compared to the heavy shot cavalry, and there's a 10 soldier difference right there. The stats are obviously greatly favoring the elite soldiers, but there's 10 less of them, so they're gonna kind of get overrun. And I love this. Rise of Mordor has recently done this in the game, and it makes battles so much more enjoyable because you can have this horde army that does its job. It envelops your opponent. I think Divide et Impera also does this as well. And because they have so many soldiers, they survive that little bit longer because the elite units they're fighting are cutting them down, but there's more of them to cut down and there's less of them to do the cutting down. So it makes combat really, so much better and so much more flavorful. And you can have these weaker armies, but just more numbers, and you can really conquer the world, which is just awesome with that. So it's a huge change to the battles, but should make the battles way better. A few minor things as well. There's new unit categories, so there's new shockbow, cavalry, and hybrid pike bow infantry. There's new category icons for war wagons and commander units, as well as updated faction descriptions as well, which is cool. So a bunch of things have also changed with the scripts now. So the Pope acts a little bit differently, so we'll hopefully be seeing him, whether he means he goes on crusade or just kind of, you know, acting more popish, should hopefully add a lot to the game itself. Another thing I wanted to show off, which is really cool, and again, some of you guys may know about, but some of you guys might not, is the awesome Holy Roman Empire screen. So this is kind of a take on the EU4 style of HRE screen. You have all these decrees that you can pass to eventually incorporate everybody into your kingdom. They provide really good bonuses, but obviously you need to get this imperial authority up. You can also pass several kind of minor laws that take away from your imperial authority, which is ultra cool. And you also have the current emperor and the pretender. There are loads of scripts in the early game that basically force the Sicily and the HRE to go to war because of the excommunication from the Pope himself. So you kind of have to march north to defeat Frederick up there. It's super dope. Sicily is a must-play faction if you guys are looking to do it. And you can also see as well, you can like form the Kingdom of Italy through this system as well. If you don't want to maybe go for that and you want to maybe go just for the Kingdom of Italy instead, you can do something like that. There have also been changes as well to the Crusade, so more images have been added to the Crusade. On top of that, for Muslim countries as well, if they hold Mecca, they get a big boost to diplomacy with other Islamic factions, which is a great boost for them. They can kind of really unite against these invaders and push them back. And you can also go ahead and call crusades as well against people attacking you that aren't just Islamic, so you can call crusades against a lot of the heretic Christianities spread out throughout the world. The bubonic plague has also added up a brand new addition, so you are going to now, if you get the bubonic plague, which is a script that fires around about 80 turns into the game, you are going to be receiving huge population losses. It's going to absolutely devastate your city and really affect your empire if you're not careful, as obviously as soldiers begin to die, you're going to can constantly lose population, and that's not going to be replenished, and it's going to take forever to actually get to that point. They have also stated as well that the Cardinals, or the College of Cardinals, will be making it hopefully into the next update, which should be very, very soon as well. I know a lot of people are very much looking forward to that custom system. Again, if this HRE thing is anything to go by, I can't wait to be duking it out with all the other, you know, lords of Europe to get my college to obviously control the Pope, and hopefully that will have some more knock-on effects. Obviously, right now you have the papal standing. The higher that is, the more bonuses you can ask. You can ask for cash, and I'm sure other things will be added if you are the papacy as well, which is super dope. Obviously, technology's in, high late units are all in as well. So again, if you haven't played for a long time, that's all back in the game. Bunch of new unit cards have been added in. Assassins have been given the sabotage, and spies are more for scouting. And then again, basically just a bunch of other additions. I believe when the Timurids invade as well, their spawned-in armies now have more siege equipment, so they can constantly take settlements and kind of get on that rampage and really build up, which is great. So hopefully you guys enjoyed this video. Oh yeah, last thing as well, the Irish have been given the Welsh roster as a placeholder whilst they continue to work on them. So if you want to jump into Players Island now, you can do that. So yeah, hopefully you guys enjoyed this video, my little look at the update. Highly recommend it. The new mercenaries, the complete overhaul to units is huge. Now that, you know, elite units are going to be way fewer in number, which also is kind of good because it means they take up less population, which again is quite nice. You know, noble units being, you know, 70 to 60 to 80 men, that's going to be way better. You're going to be able to field more of them in your army without having to worry about, you know, fielding 160 from your population and then stunting the growth for the rest of the campaign. But yeah, now that mercenaries are added in, that's going to be a great addition, able to build up your army, and hopefully we'll get tier 2s and tier 3 mercenaries added along with them coveted naval battles. They have also been showing some pictures over on their Discord as well about the custom reworking as well. They've been working a lot of the custom maps into the game, so again, hopefully we'll start to see custom maps, custom kind of settlement maps as well, all being added in. That should be really dope. So yeah, go over, play 12-12, and I'll see you guys in the next one.